Peace. It's the God King Saheem, Supreme God Allah, aka PGA, aka Saheem Allah. You know, I'm starting to see like a lot of, it's a new thing where a lot of, old timers, a lot of the kingpins that come home from jail, everybody's making videos, saying they're trying to reach the youth, they're trying to talk to the youth. But when you watch most of their videos, all they doing really is bragging about themselves, bragging about the things they've done, bragging about the shit they've done. And it's very seldom do you hear a message for the youth. If it is a message for the youth, it's the same old mediocre message that everyone else says. We want to do this, we want to do that. Don't follow our footsteps, don't follow our footsteps. If you don't want a child to follow your footsteps, then you don't glamorize what you've done. You don't glamorize how many cars you had. You don't glamorize how much money you had. You tell the whole story. I mean, you tell the dark side of the story. You tell the story of the deaths, losing people, being in prison, not being in for your children, not being in for birthdays and Christmases, the fights in prisons, how around the holiday times is the worst times in prisons, especially around Christmas, when you see your bunkie laying in the bed all day long, and you got to have enough common sense not to ask him no questions, just to ask him, bro, you all right? You want to talk? And be respectful enough to when he says nah, to understand what he's going through. You know, these so-called old washed up kingpins, they brag about all the shit that they did, all the shit that they have, but what they're not telling y'all is they came home broke. They came home broke. They have none of the old 88s and 89 cars that they brag so much about, have so many pictures of. You don't have shit to show for when you get home. Tell that part of the story. Just don't tell the glitz and glamour. Oh, we did this, or we did this, or we had this many cars, and we brought this, or I've been all over the world. I've been in Jamaica, I've been in Israel, I've been in Egypt. Okay, tell them the downside. Tell them about the lonely nights in the cell. Tell them about the phone calls from your kids when you're crying. And they're crying because they want to see you. And they asking you when you coming home. And you don't even want to tell them because you don't want to upset them even more. I'm tired of seeing all of these old washed up kingpins and hypocrites get up here and say they're trying to reach the youth. Oh, we're trying to open up this building. I've heard that shit so many times before. You know, my thing is this: don't say nothing. Don't even speak about the projects you're working on or the buildings you're trying to get and all of the social classes you're trying to have inside the building. All right, where's that? I've heard all of this before. I've heard all of this shit before. Everybody, every kingpin that comes home from jail, every joker that comes home from jail after doing a significant amount of time says the same old dialogue. It's the same old shit. It's the same old shit. Regurgitated, regurgitated from one nigga's ear and thrown up out of another nigga's mouth. It's the same old shit. And you never see any progress to what they're trying to do. You hear about it, but you never see it. If you guys are still so-called touching it and still got it and you were smart enough to save something, then why isn't there a building? Or why aren't you doing more for the youth? I've yet to see anybody do a coat drive, a winter coat and hat and scarf drive. I've yet to see these dudes post them doing a back to school drive. I've yet to see any of these dudes giving away clothes to the babies to go to school. I've yet to see them uh, say, you know what, they go in the barbershop and say, look, I'm gonna give you $1,000. I want you to cut X amount of children, X amount of young boys' hairs who's going to school. I don't see nobody throwing parties. Okay, this money, we're gonna use this money from this party to donate to these 5 brothers that's going to college. You know, we're gonna throw this party uh, to help this family who just lost their son. We're gonna this man was wrongfully convicted. Okay, we're gonna take this money and we're gonna put it together so this man could have a lawyer and stand have a fair chance in a unfair courtroom. We're gonna try to even up the playing field for him. I've yet to see none of it, but I hear the same old fucking stories. Come on, man. You know, come on. You know, okay, if you speaking about what you want to do, just speak on what you want to do. Speak on all the dark sides of the game. Don't brag about, oh, we did this and we did that, but in the same breath, say, okay, we don't want y'all to do it. Nah, it doesn't work like that. Because now, what you're really telling them is, I'm really not sorry. I really haven't changed. I'm really going to get back to my business. And I respect the man that says that. I respect the brother that come home from jail and say, listen, man, I ain't done yet. Opposed to all of these hypocrites making videos and, oh, we're going to do this and I'm going to do that. There's a brother I respect a lot, brother out of Queens. Um, he does the he tells the prison stories. I think his joints is on YouTube. It's called Prison Stories, where he basically tell you like, look, this is his different stories about when he was in prison, like the chokers he was locked up with, the horrors they went through, but never once does he glamorize any of it. Um, he's, he's a Caucasian brother out of Queens. Um, has his own YouTube channel and he does the prison stories. And he speaks on his experiences, the shit he saw, you know, letting the youth know, like it ain't no joke in there. You're gonna bump into these type of people in there, so stop doing anything that's gonna lead you there. He's not coming and saying, yeah, we was there, we was hooking up, we had this, yeah, we was running down on jokers, taking conversation. You're not doing none of that. Not doing none of that. It's just the same old, it's starting to be irritating where, everybody's saying the same shit, but yet you're glamorizing why you was in jail. You glamorizing the shit you did in jail. You glamorizing the shit you did before you went to jail. You glamorizing cars and women and trips out of the country. You glamorizing how much cocaine you was picking up. You getting other jokers, interview them, and your flunkies and cronies, you interviewing them only because they're gonna fucking boost your ego even more and tell you how great you was because you threw them a couple ounces. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Let's stop the fucking buffoonery, man. Let's stop the buffoonery. As my old God would say, either you gonna shit or you gonna get the fuck up off the toilet. And if, hey man, I don't, and I ain't knocking nobody, I ain't knocking or disrespecting anybody. But my thing is, don't talk about it, be about it. If you still want to be in the street, hey man, you don't owe nobody nothing. You know, you don't owe anybody nothing. Be real with yourself. Be true to yourself. Hey man, I ain't done. You know, I came home first time in 2004. I said, hey man, I ain't finished. Somebody told me, hey man, God got a plan for your life. I said, well, tell God to hold on because I ain't quite done with the devil yet. You know, came home 2009 and said, okay, I'm done. I'm done. And I walked it. And I graduated from college. Went to medical school. Got my medical certificates. Got my medical diplomas. Did what I had to do. But even then, I don't brag about it. I mentioned it to brothers just to tell them if I could do it, you could do it. But you hear some of these jokers talking, they still so arrogant, cocky, and everything is about them. Everything is always resorts back to them. I thought your message was for the babies, man. If your message is for the babies, then it's about the babies. Why do you always seem to be the focus? And in the end up bragging about what you've done, who you are, how real of a nigga you are. Listen, first of all, that word. That word meant sovereignty. It meant rulers, kings of Egypt, of Ethiopia and southern parts of Africa when you were called the nigger. That word was then perverted by the white man and it was took on a negative term. So if I knew a brother was intelligently inclined and he called me a nigga, I would accept it. But I know when these so-called individuals use it, they have no idea of the origin of the word. They don't know the true meaning of the word. They only know the derogatory meaning that's been passed down from slave master to slave, which many of, just because they don't have on the physical shackles, still have on the mental shackles. Um, when you take we took the ER off and put an A and made it into, no, you can't do that, bruh. Because the way that white man spelled that word is meant to be derogatory, degrading, belittling, and by you adding and subtracting, come on, man. You can spell cat with a motherfucking K, but it still means the same goddamn thing. A four-legged feline. So, miss me with that bullshit. Um, a lot of these so-called dudes, man, I'm gonna call it how it is. It's really hypocrites. You know, a lot of them are bitter. Uh, they're coming home and they're not the shit no more. You know, there was a once saying, you ever seen a nigga come home who was a kingpin and he come home and he could never get it back to where he was at before? And that's because this nigga comes home from jail and he still believes he is it. He is important. No, bruh. Your time is come and gone. It's time for you to bow out. Some motherfuckers fear being getting old. Some niggas fear uh, moving on. It's because they can't move on. They're so limited and so small-minded. They don't want to let go. You know what was sad? Watching Muhammad Ali box past his prime, where he was just getting beat up and disrespected. When you had Whitney Houston who started sing past her prime, where her voice would crack and she would sound terrible. What makes you an intelligent person is knowing when your time is up, when it's time to move on, to go out, to go out on your own terms and not to go out on somebody else's terms. You know, a lot of these dudes can't, they have egos. They just can't live with the fact that they're not relevant no more. These young dudes don't care about y'all. They don't care about the message you give them because they look at it like, where was all of that when y'all were out here killing people and living like that? And if you didn't catch your sentence, would you really be saying the shit that you're saying? A lot of the young boys listen to how y'all double talk. You brag about the shit you've done. You brag about the cars. You post pictures. But yet you say you're ashamed of what you've done. You can't be ashamed of it if you still embracing it and bragging about it. So the young cats is looking at it like this dude is a hypocrite, or this dude is a snake. This dude speaks with a forked tongue. This dude has a double standard. And any wise man sees it. I don't brag about the shit I've done. I don't. I might speak on it when asked, and only when asked. I will never volunteer what I've been, because as far as I'm concerned, that part of my life is dead. That part of my life is over. I've moved on to something greater. I went from putting people in the hospital to helping them get out the hospital. I went from making people ill to making them better. I didn't sit back, I didn't talk about it, I didn't brag about it, I didn't talk about all the shit that I've done before. There was no need to. If you've done half of the things you said you've done, you ain't never got to speak on that shit. The streets are speaking on it. You don't ever have to speak on it. You don't ever have to tell the world, I'm a great man. And I hear all of these dudes say, oh, I'm this and I'm that. I'm great and I'm this. Oh, I'm this. The egos, egotistic maniacs, egotistical maniacs. Oh, I'm this and I'm that. Oh, I've done this and I'm that. Oh, I'm a great man. Oh, I was a real gangster. Listen, if you was a real gangster, you ain't got to tell nobody that. You ain't got to say a word. People know by your demeanor. They know how you carry yourself. They know how you speak. They know how you try to reach other people. You never have to tell the world you're a good man or you're a good woman. You just be you and the world will speak for you. But when you've done so much dirt and so much wrong, a lot of people want to try to convince themselves, uh, um, well, I'm a good man now. I was a good dude. Listen, man, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Ain't no good dudes in the game, man. Cause we all were crooks. And we're all trying to get richer than the next motherfucker. So it wasn't no good men in the game. We might have been men of, some of us, let me rephrase that. Some of us might have been men of with morals and ethics and codes. But very, very few of us were good men. And if somebody ever said that I was a good man, it would probably shock me. Because I know when I was dealing with that part of my life, I wasn't dealing with righteousness. Just a lot of buffoonery, man. And it's like, come on, man. Like, stop this shit, man. If you change and you're coming home and you're sincere about really helping anybody, put YouTube and Facebook down and go work on your kids first, because it starts in your home first. If you miss a significant amount of time out of your children's life, you shouldn't be on YouTube, you shouldn't be on Facebook, you shouldn't be on Instagram. You should be trying to build or get back. Well, you can never get back what you lost with them, but you should be trying to build a better foundation with your children. They come first. Everybody else is second. That's what you should be doing. Not on Facebook, not on YouTube, not on Instagram, bragging about yourself, showing old pictures of some old ass cars nobody ever was going to see again. Old ass clip pictures of you. That shit is over. It's good to have, don't get me wrong. Your history is your history. But you can't brag about all the things you gotten, all the things you did, and then turn around the same breath and say, okay, but I'm trying to reach the kids so they don't make the same mistakes. No, you're not. No, you're not. Or it ain't about likes. I don't care. I'm trying. No, bruh, that's bullshit. Because your message, if you're telling the message you want, let's stop being hypocrites. You need them likes, because the more likes you got, the more people are getting your message. So don't sit and say, it ain't about a like. It ain't. Yes, it is. If it ain't, then don't post it. If it ain't about a like, don't post it. And don't post nothing you ain't go out in the street and do first. I told a brother, I don't post degrees. I go out there in the streets where it's needed and I give it to them. If I'm ever going to post a degree, believe me, I went out in the street and taught it first. So just bullshit needs to stop, man. Everybody wants the truth, but don't nobody want to be fucking honest. That's it in a nutshell. Everybody screaming they want the truth. They're here to tell the truth, But ain't nobody being honest about it. Everything is, come on. It's sad when you see jokers my age and older still wanting to be accepted by the youth, still wanting to be respected. Not even respected, because we all want to be respected by the youth, but they want to be accepted to where they could go and hang around them. Listen, man, your time has came and gone, man. It's over. When I was a child, I did childish things. Now that I'm a man, I must do manly things. And before I worry about saving somebody else's baby, I need to worry about saving my own first. If I came home from prison and this year and jumped on Facebook, Instagram, and all the rest of that shit, started making, I'm trying to reach the youth, I'm trying to reach the youth. You know what my children would be saying? What about us? We're the ones we haven't seen you in 6 years. Why are you on there so fucking early, but yet we ain't seen you in 6 years? You say this is about the youth, this is about helping the youth. Nah, this is about helping yourselves. Let's keep it 100. It's about helping yourselves. It ain't got nothing to do with the youth. Because if it did, you start at home first. I've yet to see somebody do a clothes drive. I've yet to see somebody do a back to school drive. I've yet to see somebody do a barbecue or do a Halloween party or do a back to school drive, free book bags and sneakers and uniforms for the babies. I've yet to see that shit. I've yet to see uh, a food drive where brothers who talk this good shit going into the projects or going to, especially now with this virus, going and giving out bags of groceries to families that need it. But these so-called brothers on here always screaming, it's about the babies, we trying to make a difference. Your words don't match, your actions don't match your words. Peace. It's Nation of Gods and Nerds.